Hi everyone! Today I thought it'd be helpful to go over a few machines that I would say to avoid if you're a beginner or even if you're not a beginner. I'd say all five of them are particularly difficult and or you would need to be extremely lucky to win. So the first one, as you can see, is a ping pong drop machine. So the plus side is that the crane looks like it can pick up more than one ping pong ball and that it isn't particularly expensive at 1800 TP to play. However, did you notice that there is a particularly very tall green circle that is guarding the goal? So I've seen people play pretty much like these machines where these are all gone and it still hasn't gone in here. So it's really, I'd say really difficult to manage to drop one of these into this goal circle because this is taller than even the first row of ping pong balls. So even if one falls like right next to here, it'll just land right up against this barrier because when this drops it, it just drops it pretty much over here. So I'd say pretty much avoid this unless maybe there's only a couple balls left, in which case, per their policy, they say that if you use all of them, then you get the prize anyways. So let's see. So it's generally pretty clear when you can see that the barrier is pretty tall. In some cases, it's not as obvious and you really have to look at the side view to see if the goal area is flat and if there's a barrier blocking it. So the second crane to avoid is also a ping pong drop machine. So this crane can also pick up a lot of balls. You can see in here, this person has quite a few. And it'll go back here and drop them and they'll all fall over here and you're hoping it falls into this one. And anything else will just roll back down here. So as you can see, there is also a guard circle that is guarding the goal area. So this makes it, I'd say, particularly hard because it has to like, all these have to fall and somehow magically kind of like hop and then fall in here. And this machine isn't cheap either. It's 2,500 TP to play. So, I mean, if you're feeling lucky, like kind of like why not? But definitely it won't be easy. I've seen people win this machine when there isn't a goalpost here and all the balls just stay here. So sometimes it actually just hops over the balls that are already here and then lands in there. But this one is definitely a different take in which none of them stay here. They all drop down and now they added a barrier. So the third machine I'd say is the one where they have these plushies and they're generally really flat and it's wrapped in plastic. So generally like the plush or prize itself is pretty much within the bars for the most part, but they have this plastic that is holding it up. So the crane that's generally for winning these plushies, these small prizes, is usually these little small pincer claws, which generally don't have a lot of strength in lifting or moving much, and they don't usually open that wide, so it's really hard to get the prize to move a lot to win it. So it usually ends up taking quite a few plays to rotate these, like say for example these prizes 90 degrees so they'll fall in between the bars. So I'd say if you're a beginner, like avoid these. They are winnable. And if you do see something that's like has just like a small piece of plastic, like, you know, you can try it out, but it takes like a really good amount of accuracy to pinpoint the small amount of corner plastic with these tiny little claws. So here is the fourth one. So this one actually looks pretty promising initially because there's so much plastic and it looks like it's falling already. But if you notice from the side view, the starting position of the claw is at or pretty much within the front bar. And whenever that happens, it really limits the type of moves you can make. So I particularly like the double bars. It's one of the my favorite crane games to play, and I would pretty much avoid these because one of my favorite moves is using this plastic and it really helps to move the prize either left or right, depending where it's positioned in the bars. But now you're only really left to play within this zone, which is up here or over here. So then you're gonna have to try and shift it left or right, pretty much from like over here. And that makes it super challenging. So I would say this is definitely not for a beginner, especially like in the starting position. I will say that usually the claw is pretty strong. Like you'll see that the claws are not the pincer ones. They're the flatter, wider type of claws. So generally I think they kind of compensate by making it a little bit stronger, but it is still pretty so this is the 5th crane game that I'd say to just be very aware of when you play it. It's pretty obvious with this prize that you can see that there is a bar here, but when the prizes are bigger, the prize is hiding the complete area, and it looks like if you just move it off of this shelf area, then you'll win it. So this is a really example where you can actually see the bar, and then you'll see that you'd have to not only move it off of the shelf area, you have to move it off this bar. So I'd say it's definitely something to look out for and to be aware of as a beginner, that you may not know all the claw configurations, but this is one of the ones they use every so frequently, and this is definitely not as obvious. It definitely got me when I first started playing that. I thought I was going to win this really big Chip or Dale, and it looked like it was falling off, except I didn't see to a few plays later that there was a bar also holding the prize up. So it would take a lot more plays to win.